a 2030 agenda. That's the umbrella that we see for all those agreements that we have. I mean, the SDG framework, and we've got all the SDGs up there, is a frame that we sit with government to look to see how we're going to plan. And it really is about us sitting with these countries to see where the gaps are. The gender goal of 5 links to all other 16. So where are we putting in the rule of law, justice, and ensuring that the enabling environment is there institutionally? How are we addressing gender as it relates to health, as it relates to education, access to water, and many of these issues are unfinished from the MDGs, but they're much more central now in the new way in which we address the economy and the environment.
And of the 17 SDG, we cannot see SDG 5 alone. It is to be interconnected with all the other SDGs.
Girls for goals and goals for girls, because it goes both ways. And it's not just about not leaving people behind, but it's also women being drivers, of being key actors in making things different.
Gender is not a sector, must be done in a comprehensive way. Discrimination is rooted in our societies, all societies alike. In European societies, in many countries, so only doing it together is possible to have some chance of result. This is the idea on the Spotlight Initiative, to mobilize people and in particular to have women standing up for their rights, not having fear, but having the courage to denounce, to be protagonists of the change. This is what we are doing together.
We need to make sure that by 2030, which is the target year of the Sustainable Development Goals, that we have made every girl and woman aware of their rights in this respect.
SDGs do not replace human rights.
No.
They are supposed to accelerate the achievement of human rights for all.
When girls and women have their rights respected, when they have the resources to do what is right for them, they're better off, their families are better off, their communities, their countries are much better off.
Approximately 1/3 of women have been confronted at one point in their lives to any kind of gender-based violence or sexual violence. 1 out of 3 is gigantic. I mean, this is half of the world population, where 1/3 is being confronted to this.
We need to line up with other important stakeholders, namely with the United Nations, where we have come up with the Spotlight Initiative, where we're targeting to tackle prevalent forms of violence. At the same time, we keep our eyes on the important aspects of decision making, and this has to do with the inclusive and meaningful participation of women in all venues of life.
It's not only a question of men and women, it's the whole society that is concerned, and it's the whole system of governance also.
It's also about power within those organizations, so making sure that the women we're talking about, the women at the front line, are really shaping the agenda of the organization. Where are those women in the leadership of those organizations? So it's also about ensuring that those voices are at the center of shaping the campaigns, the activism.
It tends to motivate more women and girls. It's just a tool to solve the problems that they care about. All of us know a cousin, a neighbor, like we can all think of someone right now, right, who we can go home and encourage.
She leads, we all have a voice and also a choice.
The movement for gender equality didn't start with the Me Too, okay? We are here because other women fought for us before. We can vote because there was a movement all over the world. So it's not that we are starting here, but it is a watershed moment where the visibility allows us to take a big step forward.
People can go out with their own stories and get it out there, because there'll be other people in the world that say, this speaks to me, this is my story.
Thousands of young people across all parts of the world are actually very positive agents of change who want to live peacefully and who do want to contribute to the betterment of our societies.
If you broaden the movement and you also make sure that you bring in indigenous women, women living with disabilities, women of different sexual orientation, you actually make sure that all of the issues are discussed together, and you strengthen the sisterhood and the solidarity that must exist.
Solidarity. This is the key point. UN is the symbol of the international solidarity. And as European Union, which set up a system of regional solidarity, if I may say so, we are allies in substance, in values, and we are allies on something which sometimes seems a bit set aside, doing together.
Essentially about doing these things together. This is where we will get further to deliver on the SDGs.